I work with the KC STEM Alliance, and for those of you who aren't familiar with the STEM Alliance, we are a nonprofit that works with industry, education, and other nonprofits to get more kids excited about careers in STEM. And we have two signature programs that we primarily support, and one of them is the First Robotics program, which is an outside of school event, which if anybody's familiar with that, we just had our big competition last weekend, or 2 weekends ago. And then the other in-school curriculum that we support is something called Project Lead the Way. And Project Lead the Way is a national leading developer of curriculum to expose students to careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. They have 3 predominant tracks. It started with engineering, then they added biomedical sciences, and now they have a new track for computer science. So Project Lead the Way and First Robotics both got started in a big way in the Kansas City market because of a large investment of funds from the Kauffman Foundation as well as your companies. Burns & McDonnell, Garmin, Black & Veatch, Sprint, Cerner were some of the large companies that really got the KC STEM, actually helped support Project Lead the Way and FIRST, as well as getting the KC STEM Alliance started about 3 years ago. So in the Project Lead the Way curriculum, students have the opportunity to take progressive courses in that track in conjunction with college preparatory math and science. So by the time they get to their senior year, if they've taken all of the classes that they can take in that track, they take a senior capstone course. And during that senior capstone course, they ask the question at the beginning of the year, I hate it when, blank, and then they basically identify a problem that's unique to them and their interest area, and then they spend the rest of the year working with the team to implement the engineering design process and come up with the solution to that problem. So that project has been in place for the past, as long as the course has been in place. I mean, it's sort of designed as a culminating and integrative type of process. But until this year, so it's always been graded by a teacher. There's always been a rubric assigned to how the project is done. But 2 years ago, this technology came into place through the innovation portal that enabled the students to build an electronic portfolio. So not only did it provide a space for the students to save their work and go back and access it and work together as a team, kind of like you would in Google Docs, it allowed them, it also gave us the opportunity to sort of build in this robust rubric to help the students build their portfolio to a high quality, have a teacher be able to connect to that and grade it, and then give the student an opportunity to share that information with an outside party. So the tool the innovation portal is really designed to allow us to do things like a competition, as well as in the future, if let's say you're a HR department and you want to hire somebody, you could actually ask that student, if the student had a portfolio, they could share it with you as an employer and say, hey, here's an example of my work. And the innovation portal is not unique to Project Lead the Way. Anybody can use it. Any student can use it. And we really hope that it will be accessed by a number of students across the country. So this is only the second year that organizations have been sponsoring competitions. So we thought, let's go ahead and try it. This is our inaugural year. We appreciate you guys being first-time judges with us. And I ask for your patience if we have a few little blips along the way, but we're going to do our best to hopefully have everything go really smoothly. So specifically, there are about 15 school districts that have this, or there are 15 school districts with 21 schools that are actually doing this particular course. We have a lot more schools that actually do Project Lead the Way, but not everybody does all 4 years of the class. So there are 168 students who are working on 80 projects in those 21 schools this year. All of those students have been invited to showcase their projects at an event on April 15th, and they've also had the opportunity to, they've also been invited to actually submit their project to this competition. So far, I have about 60 students registered, which we are guessing will be about 20 to 25 projects. There's still an opportunity for kids to register. We're pretty confident they're all going to upload their projects on the very last day, very likely 15 minutes before the deadline. And we have about 30 judges. So our goal, we were hoping to have a few more projects, and we'll see what comes in. But our goal is to have every project judged a minimum of 3 times, potentially 4 times. And so I'm thrilled to have such a great, so many judges that have signed up to help. So that gives you, and then so basically the kids will upload all their projects by March 29th. We will take a day to kind of sort through that and then reassign them to all of the judges. So the judging period will be March 31st through April 12th. And I will send out an email to let you know as soon as the judging window is open and that your projects have been assigned to you. So and then at the showcase, you're all welcome to come to the showcase, and at the showcase we will announce who the winners are of the scholarship contest. Top winner, I think you guys got some of the information, but the top winner will get, winning team will get $5,000 in scholarship, and then second and third place will get $2,000. So, and then I'll talk a little bit more at the end of our training about kind of some other aspects of the competition, but I think at this point I'll go ahead and hand it over to Mark, who again is at the National Project Lead the Way office and is going to help us kind of talk through how the Innovation Portal judging part works.
All right, thanks, Ann. Good morning, everyone. As Ann mentioned, the Innovation Portal is, for lack of a better analogy, if you'll think of kind of being asked to come judge a science fair, but rather than having you take a day off and run down to a gymnasium, we've tried to put the entire thing online, including the ability for students, where the students, how they connect with each other online, how they build their portfolios, how they collaborate with their teachers and mentors, and then taking that same body of work and the same rubric used to create that work and putting it in the hands of competition coordinators and judges. So this is kind of on the screen at the moment is the agenda I've created for you, and the first two I'm just going to kind of go over. If this is something that you have already done, please forgive me, but this is the first order of business is to connect you with getting you an Innovation Portal account, essentially connecting your bucket to Ann's competition, and so the students will put their portfolios in Ann's competition bucket, and then as she mentioned there'll be about a day buffer as they sort through those, and then they'll assign them and put them in your buckets, and you can grade from any internet access, and you can grade at your leisure. So that is one important point to note. The time that Ann, the window she's created for judges is the 31st through the 12th. So as you're grading a portfolio, if you have to get up and run an errand, you can stop in mid-sentence and even log out. And when you log back in, you can take right up where you left off. So it is meant to be something you can judge at your leisure rather than have to get it all done in a particular period of time. So the first order of business, again, is to create an Innovation Portal account. And the first thing on our list is the Innovation Portal is an online application. So we basically turned HTML inside out and handed it to the students. They're Each portfolio page that you'll see, and I'll give you a demonstration, we'll jump over to the innovation portal here in a bit. But each one is its own web page, works on all browsers. But one of the things, one of the technical issues we have to address is to make sure that the browser that you're using on any given computer to access the work is a fairly modern version of one of the major browsers. There's two ways to do that. If you're unsure, you can copy down that link that's on the screen at the moment, and with your browser open in a new tab, and literally copy and paste that link into a new browser tab, and it will ping your computer and tell you what version of your browser is there, and if JavaScript is enabled and all that good stuff. Kind of a thumbs up, or here's some links to update your browser. So just make sure your browser is up to date. Once you do that, we're gonna talk about creating your own innovation portal account and getting it connected to the competition. I have my next slide is kind of a real quick overview of how to do that. And then below the line 3 through 8, we're going to show you how to access the portfolios assigned to you. So if we were showing up at a gymnasium, we would all meet in a big room. You'd be handed a clipboard, a pencil, and sheets of paper. And there would be somebody sitting at the side with a computer waiting to enter the scores. And we'll show you how that all looks on the system we've created. So the first order of business is, if you haven't already, innovationportal.org is the site. Registration, the registration link at the top. It asks for some very basic information. The Air Force Academy timed it. Why, we don't know, but they said it takes their students an average of 3 minutes and 30 seconds to register for an account. They're very precise. So we laughed about that and said definitely the Air Force Academy. But it doesn't take long to register. But once you create an account, what Anne will need from you then is, once you create an account, it will ask you for an email address or an active email address, and then it will send you a link, very much like signing up for any online account. And then you open the email and verify the link, and then you get to create your own password. So once your account is established, what Anne will need from you is, put a number 2 next to that, she'll need an email from you saying, here's the email I used to create my account. And in turn, Anne will do number 3 here. She'll send you an invitation via that email to accept or decline. And if you accept it, either via the email or inside the innovation portal, you get a notification in 2 places. If you accept the invitation to be a judge, it just connects the 2 accounts, kind of like the bucket analogy I mentioned earlier. So that's really the first order of business. If you've already done that, again, forgive me for walking through it again. And if you haven't done that, Anne will need to be able to make this connection before she can give you any portfolios. So I wanted to offer this little kind of cartoon view of how it all works. This is you in the lower right-hand corner. Anne is connecting to her judges and getting the training, the demonstration online. Once those accounts are connected, the little blue circles with the trophies in them, I guess, represent the individual accounts or buckets. And the big one in the center is the competition. The students on the left-hand side of the screen, and Anne made mention earlier in the introduction about the rubric. The rubric that you're going to be using to grade the portfolios is the same rubric, word for word, that the students have been given from day 1, which is exactly how rubrics should work. Here's what's being expected of you, and this is what the judges will see as well. So they've been busy building their portfolios and documenting their work. And then one thing they've already done is they've registered interest in the competition. That's how Anne knew she had as many students as she mentioned before. And then the window is now open for submission, so students are starting to get their work as they would like to see it appear in the competition, and they're starting to submit, and they'll be doing this through Sunday evening. So once Sunday evening comes and goes, the clock on the competition will close, and these are the portfolios that need to be graded. And again, Anne will take a day to make sure that there are no outstanding circumstances. And then she'll set the algorithm inside the innovation portal, and she'll say, I want each portfolio graded exactly this many times, and sent to my judges, and for no judge to have to grade the same portfolio twice, that kind of thing. And the system will randomly assign each of you some portfolios. So you'll be able to see the portfolios right in front of you, kind of like the clipboard, and here's the five numbered entries that you're going to go look at. but you won't be able to see all of the entries, or you won't be flooded with all of the entries, just the work in front of you. So, and then as you grade, I do want to take a side note. You can grade in a couple of different ways. One, you can grade the portfolios, one at a time, or back and forth if you'd like, any way you'd like. But you don't have to submit. When you're ready to submit a score, then the score is solidified. There's even a message that says, does this look good to you? Is this what you want to submit? And if you click yes, it looks good, and final submit, then you get to keep a copy of it, but you won't be able to edit it after that. So some judges prefer to grade one and submit, grade the next, submit, and write through their work. Other judges prefer to leave all of their portfolios kind of open and jump back and forth just to make sure, compare and contrast, and then submit all three at the end. However you prefer to work, that option is yours. But once you do submit the scores, they become visible to Anne, and like I said, you get to keep a copy, and she gets to keep a copy. And they'll start just like the person I mentioned in the gymnasium at a science fair. Those scores will kind of like a spreadsheet will be put into a bin. They'll be averaged, and she'll start to be able to see as the scores come in. The winners rise to the top, and the lower scores go to the bottom, and she'll be able to see all the information just like we would if we were handling paper. So that's kind of what the system was meant to do. In addition, like I mentioned, this is what the students are doing. They're building portfolios around a very structured. So each portfolio will look the same to you. You won't have to hunt for the information. That's very important to the whole process. The rubric for this tab, if you picture a 3-ring binder in front of you, it will look the same. You'll be looking for the same thing in the same tab of each of the entries assigned to you. And this is the way the students have built it. They've connected to their project partners, connected with their teacher, connected with their mentors. All of those folks get to see the same rubric in the same place that will be presented to all of you. And then when they're ready, they get to enter the competition. The last slide here is if Anne hasn't sent these to you already, she will be sending these to you. These are some additional resources for all of you, just some printed copies. One of them on the left is a PDF step-by-step guide of what I'm going to demonstrate this morning, just for your reference. The middle one is reflective questions taken from the rubric that are available to the students, and that's something to look for as I jump over to the innovation portal. These are the same questions that the students have been, did you show the reviewers of this portfolio these attributes of the design process at this point, kind of thing. So that's a resource that's good for students, but also good for judges. And then also the third piece on the far right is the entire rubric. The rubric was part of a very large NSF study for the last 4 years to basically take the design process and turn it into how do you assess the design process? What are the steps that are assessed at the collegiate level? Most of this is done at the university level, and this is the rubric that we've built the innovation portal around. And so some judges prefer to have a printed copy in front of them, and so they can go back and forth rather than accessing it online, and we wanted you to all have that option as well. So these resources should be coming your way. So I'm going to jump over to the innovation portal and kind of show you the process of what it looks like to access your portfolios, how to access the online score sheet to enter a couple of grades, to verify grades for a particular portfolio, and then how it looks like relative to that cartoon I showed you to submit the scores back to Anne. As I do that, though, I'll pause, and if you have any questions at the moment, please you can unmute yourself and just ask, or you can enter them right into the chat window of GoToMeeting. So I'll just pause for a minute as I change and allow you to do that.
And I'm just going to unmute myself for a minute. I know we had a couple late people come on. Danny, sorry we didn't have the right link for you out there, but if you would like, we're happy to stay on for a few minutes afterwards and just kind of review the first couple of slides. But this will be recorded, and then everybody will have access to the session when we're finished.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Anne. This is Danny. I probably will just need to watch the recording. I think that'd be fine.
Okay, great.
All right. All right. So I'm going to jump over to the actual the login screen. The login screen of the innovation portal, if you haven't created an account already, comes up with a maintenance window. We're moving the innovation portal to some massive Amazon servers this Friday evening when traffic is very low. And by Saturday afternoon, it should be up and running, and it's already pretty fast, but the response time will be increased, and all sorts of back-end stuff will work a lot smoother. So even this is just a notification. So if you come to the innovation portal, you can say, all right, I got that. And then I've already logged in, registered and logged in here. So this is the login screen. When you log in, the innovation portal, there's no judge's account or mentor's account or student account. There's just an account, because in our requirements gathering for this piece of software, we found out that in many cases people play multiple roles. Teachers make portfolios, students, especially at the college level, are both using the innovation portal but are also judges. So there's just an account. And the reason for mentioning that is that when you log in, it defaults you to the, and I'll highlight it here, I'll zoom in a little bit, I'll highlight it in the upper right hand corner, it defaults to the My Portfolios page. Now if you're new to the innovation portal, it'll simply, instead of all these portfolios that you see on the screen here, it'll simply say you don't have any portfolios yet. And if you'd like to create one, you're free to do so. I just wanted to mention that it defaults there instead of where we need to bring you as a judge. So when you create an innovation portal account, get it connected to the competition, this is what you would see. You come to the innovation portal, log in. Again, it'll default you to My Portfolios. But then we're going to come down onto the menu on the left, and we're going to click on Opportunities. And as Ann mentioned before, instead of saying the word competitions, we had to change that word because it has a broader spectrum. We have companies who have summer internships for students that are interested in hosting one of these tiles, if you would, saying we have a, if you're interested, if you live in the Dallas area and you're interested in this internship, we'd love to see your, or we would like to see your high school design project work as part of the application, or as the application in some cases. So there's no prize in it as there is in a typical competition. You're actually competing for a paid internship, so that kind of thing. So that's why the word opportunities. As you jump in here to opportunities, I'm going to show you probably the one of the things we made a mistake in terms of design. What you'll see right away is all of the competitions that are currently open and available to students. You'll see on the screen now an Oklahoma competition, a Wisconsin competition, Minnesota. There will be others. Your competition is here. It's in multiple states because there are some places in Kansas and some counties in Missouri. So they're listed inside there. But this is your competition. However, next week when you come here, the submission window will close, and I just want to make this point that this current competition will actually go into what's called a past competition. I want to show you where to find that, and that's why I'm taking a moment to both apologize but also to show you. Up in the upper right-hand corner where it says Opportunities, there's a little menu, and you can choose Current or Past Opportunities. By this time next week, the Kansas City Engineering Design Competition will be a past competition, and this is how you access it. So I'm just going to click the Past button, and you can see that there are some current competitions from the Conrad Foundation in judging mode at the moment, so their judges are coming here. The opportunity I've created for us to look at today as an example is this one from the NSF Prime Scoring Group. So if you'll picture the Kansas City multiple state things here, this is where you'd find it. So we went to past opportunities, and then we'll just pretend that this is the Kansas City one. You'd click on the Kansas City one, and when you do, because you're connected as a judge, you will get this bar across the screen that says View and Reviews. The system knows you're logged in and has your name in the corner. If you click the word Reviews, the portfolios that will be assigned to you will become, and you can see here that I have 48. You will have like 4. I just have many for this particular competition, but I wanted to give you a vision of what this would look like. Your 4 portfolios will be listed here. The students and where they're from will be open in front of you, and the names of their portfolios. So as I mentioned, you're only going to have 3 or 4. So I'll make sure that 3 or 4 appear on the screen here. We can, I'm going to show you how to access the this is how you see the portfolios assigned to you. Then we're going to jump inside a portfolio and show you where the grades are and how to access the rubric online and the other resources you have as a judge. So you log in, go to past, go to Kansas City and My Reviews, and we'll take a look at new carbon anode. So I'm just going to click the title of the student portfolio, and their work appears in front of you. And if you will imagine a portfolio kind of closed sitting on your desktop, and then over on the right hand side I'll hover over each of these letters or element names. The portfolio defaults to the cover page. There's nothing to grade on the cover page, though you may want to review it. Students typically put pictures of themselves, what school they're from, some background about why they chose the project, that kind of thing. It's analogous to the little plastic cover page of a 3-ring binder. To get to the first element to grade, you're going to be grading A through N. I'm going to show you how to access the scoring sheet and everything. So I'm just going to click on Tab A, and you can see that when I move the cursor aside, A stays in blue. So we've opened the portfolio to Tab A, and we can start seeing what the students have submitted for your review. Couple things here I want you to focus on the screen. One is the word complete review at the top. We'll be coming back there in a minute. And the other I would like you to see is that down in the lower right hand corner is a panel or an icon for a quill pen. If I click that, it will open a scoring sheet over the top of the work. I have a wheel mouse sitting in front of me. I'll just zoom that up and down a little bit. You can still kind of read behind it, but this was an exercise in screen real estate. But you can close this panel if it's in your way and reopen it again. But this is the panel where you will enter scores and comments. The scores will default to a question mark. And I'm just going to give this group a 2 right here, and then I'm going to add some gibberish for a comment. You can comment on what you thought was good, what you thought was not so good, and how it could be better, those kinds of things. The comments are optional, but you can certainly add them. And then I wanted to show you how to access, 2 ways to access the rubric upon which this work will be graded. The first way, I'll close the scoring sheet for just a moment. The first way is the way the students access the portfolio. They see the same interface that you do, minus the scoring sheet, obviously. I'm going to hover over letter A, and this first step is the presentation and justification of the problem. And there's, in this panel that pops out, there's several resources for you right off the bat. Number one is the rubric itself is here. You can see it defaults to the highest score, which is a 5. And the rubric folks of the NSF told us to think of the rubric as a staircase going downwards. As you move down in terms of score points, it's asking for much of the same thing. The wording is similar, but you will find as you look at these things, it's less refined all the way down to a 0. And for you as a judge, this is a best fit. If you're not sure if it's a 2 or a 3, whichever best describes what is being asked for in this element is yours to choose. The rubric is stated here, but I also mentioned that there are reflective questions, and we found that these are also very useful for judges as well. They are located next to, did you offer the reviewers of this portfolio? I'm going to drop down this little menu. Again, we're on tab A, but as I drop down the this little menu, it gives some bullet points. And we found that these are very helpful for judges as well. The students were presented with these as well from day one. Did you offer the reviewers of this portfolio a clear and concise problem statement that offers kind of cause-effect phrasing, sufficient and timely evidence? Sometimes students submit evidence that's from a decade ago, and that may or may not be relevant to the problem that they've presented you, and research and documented determination, these kinds of things. This is what they were asked for. If you are addressing each one of these bullet points very well, then you're getting closer and closer to a 5. So I wanted to show you the reflective questions that you can access from this panel, the actual individual pieces of the rubric. And then I wanted to offer one more thing that is used both as a teaching tool, but that is an option for judges as well. From the NSF work over the last 4 years, if we pulled portfolios and put that in front of raters and judges and reviewers who use the same system you're going to be using, but when dozens of university professors who are grading this in teaching design say this is what a 3 looks like, we've redacted the names of the students, but we've put this online for people to access as an example. This is what a 3 looks like. If we have one of those examples, It's down here underneath scored element examples. There's a little PDF link, and I'll click it here in just a second. If an example doesn't exist yet, there is a, in very light, I apologize for it being so light, it just says no samples are available. But in this case, I'll show you this one other resource before we go and look at our grade. But here's an example of a 3. And again, students were able to access all of this information I'm showing you at the moment. So I'll download the 3. If you look in the upper left, it opened in a new tab, so I haven't left the portfolio, it just opened in a new tab. This is what you'll get in terms of an example. Here's the summary submitted by the group of raters saying this is 3 and this is why and this is what could have been better and what we found to be good. This is where it fits in that process. This is an example. This is the actual rubric 54321. And then here's what the students had submitted. The color is, I'll zoom in a little bit, the color is a little bit different because we've changed the interface and the logo, but not one word has changed in the rubric or the process. The students have submitted a problem statement. To give context, this particular project was about LED traffic lights. It turns out in northern climates, they aren't saving cities very much money. Not because they aren't more efficient at using electricity, they certainly are. But it turns out the incandescent bulbs that were red, yellow, and green before, the extra heat that they were giving off was actually keeping the lenses clear of accumulating condensation and in colder weather ice and things like that. So if you can solve this one, there is a beach house in Malibu waiting for you from what I understand. So this is what the students submitted in terms of proof to show that this was indeed a problem worth going after. They have articles about accident reports from people who just couldn't see the lights. They have other accident reports, people talking about these things and they will post those online for you to see. This group also submitted excerpts from interviews that they had over the course of their project from engineers and traffic systems engineers talking about this problem. And then finally another article, and I'll show you this one because it just has a picture of one of these things where the incandescent bulbs were actually produce enough heat to melt all that. The LED bulbs don't, and that's how they cause accidents. So this is the problem statement and problem justification that this group submitted, and this is an example of what many others have found as a 3. Again, you don't have to use these, but I did want to take time to show you that they are available. So I'll close that, and again it jumps back to the tab and we're back at the portfolio. So those are the resources at your fingertips. This is the rubric that students see. This isn't choosing a score over here on the panel. This is just being able to see the rubric. We're going to go back down for letter A, and we're going to go back down and bring the scoring sheet back up. And again, I'm going to show you this is where all the judging work is done on these scoring sheets. It's the same for each one of these elements. But again, in this one, I'm going to type the gibberish over here, and let's say that we thought this group deserved a 2. I want to show you one more way to access the rubric without having to jump over to the side panel. It's this little plus button here. So if I click the little plus button, a little floating rubric, which I can grab and move around as I need, and then I can jump inside there and see the rubric at each point. And then if that's in my way, I can close that or reopen it at any time I need to. So again, anything we can offer you to help you zero in on the best fit score. So like I said, we'll leave a 2 for A, and then that's all you need to do. There's no save button. The Innovation Portal saves every few microseconds. So like I mentioned before, if you need to run, this has already been saved for you. It hasn't been submitted, just saved. So I'm going to jump down to letter B, and it's the same for each element. So we'll jump to letter B. You can see that it's held open there. We'll open the little scoring sheet, clicking on the quill pen. We can access now the rubric for B, and you can see the documentation here. Same thing as letter A, and if we thought this was a 3 or a 4 this time, we'll put a 4 in there, and I'm going to just type the letter X many times. The reason I'm doing that is I want to show you that where you get to review your comments here in just a second. So we've graded A and B, and you just do that all the way down through whatever the students have submitted. And then, like I said, if you prefer as a judge at this point, we haven't submitted anything, but you can go back to opportunities and your reviews and look at the next portfolio and the next and get all the grades you want, or In this example, if I was ready to submit this review, I'm going to go up here to the top and I'm going to click Complete Review. It's like buying something on Amazon or something. It's kind of a summary page to show you, hey, is this what you wanted to submit? And you can see the 2 and the 4 that I've graded. And since we haven't graded anything else, they've defaulted to a question mark. You can see the gibberish, the comments that I've typed. And once I'm satisfied with the comments and the scores, I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom. And all it says down here, see if I can zoom in a little bit for everybody. All it says down here is that after clicking Complete Review button, I will no longer be able to edit, but I will be able to keep a copy and be able to review my work if I choose to. So as long as you understand that, we'll push that little radio button, and once you click Complete Review, it will give you a message here saying it's been done. There you go, successfully completed. And then if I go back into opportunities, I'm going to go back there again, past opportunities, and the prime scoring workshop, I'm going to go back and take a look at it. I will get a little message that said I've completed that one. And if, there we go, and the new carbon anode has been complete. And so the lawnmower Kickstarter down here has the word active underneath it, meaning I haven't finished that one yet, but kind of basically if these are my 3 portfolios, I've completed 1 out of 3, and now Anne could see my scores. I come down here and have a complete there and a complete there. So there's another way to check, have I done everything that's been asked of me? This one's complete, that one's complete, that one's complete. My work as a judge is done. And again, you get to keep copies of your work, and you can access those at any time. And then I believe, Anne, at the end, you wanted to find a way to show all of the judges the portfolios that got the highest scores in the competition later. Is that correct?
Yes, you know, and I think probably the hardest part about doing this all online is that unlike a science fair where you can sort of walk by and see the variety of quality of projects, this will be a random assignment. So you may get the top 3 or you may get the bottom 3. And so I just think it would be nice for all of the judges to get a chance to see what some of the top projects look like. So we will definitely we're going to try to figure out a way. We can't do it through the system, but we'll find a way to share that information with you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. With that demonstration kind of in mind, we just wanted to make sure to show you, kind of walk you through it. Again, this is being recorded, and also we have created a kind of a visual step-by-step PDF file that you can reference as well. But want to make sure that basically you get an Innovation Portal account, you get it connected to the competition, and then next Tuesday, and we'll distribute portfolios randomly to all of you, and this is how you access them and grade them. If you have questions about the rubric or any technical issues, I do want to bring back up the PowerPoint and offer my contact information directly. And if you have questions about the event itself, the culminating event, Anne can help you there. So I think it's a good time to open it up for questions. Was there anything that was that generated questions or that was unclear that you'd like me to review or to focus on? You are the most polite judges in the entire planet, right?
We have really smart judges, I can tell.
Yes, you do.
And Mary, I see that you came on a little bit late. We will send out the tape or the YouTube connection so that you can go on and review this. And then feel free, please, to give me a call directly or to Mark if you have any questions.
Sounds good. Thank you. I did miss about the first 3 minutes. Yes.
Oh, well then maybe I just didn't see you were on there. Oh, good. So you were there for most of it.
You were already started when I did join, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and you know, what I did at the beginning was just provide a little bit of context for people that maybe weren't familiar with Project Lead the Way. You know, this is this project is a senior capstone course, and so really the only tweak is that we're overlaying the competition this year. One of the things, just a couple of little caveats I want to point out about the way we're doing the competition is this online portion is really the first part of the competition, and it is the portion that has scholarship monies attached to it, because really it reflects how well these uh-oh, can anybody hear that?
Nope. And
Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
yeah, you're loud and clear.
Uh-oh.
I am somehow getting music. Anybody hearing music?
No.
I've got a weird commercial going on.
Okay.
I don't know where this is coming from. I can't even figure out how to turn it off.
You're coming through loud and clear on this end with no music.
Did you just hear that, though? Did you hear the commercial?
No.
No.
Okay, that was crazy. I just had this commercial click on into my headset. Okay. I feel like I'm in some sort of time zone or whatever. Anyway, okay. So let's hope that that's done. But what I was saying is, so the first online part of the competition is really kind of judges how well the students do the project as it's assigned. So they have this very specific rubric. How well do they go through the design process? How well do they document that in the portfolio? So it, from a purely academic point of view, it shows how well these kids understand the engineering design process. So that is the portion that has the scholarship dollars attached to it. Now, we also know that there are very likely some kids out there that have a great idea that might be a very marketable idea, but it's not necessarily, maybe they really aren't a very good engineer in terms of being able to document the process, at least at this point in their careers. Excuse me. And so we wanted to find sort of a second layer opportunity to identify good ideas and encourage that sort of innovative, creative thinking. So, so this competition will identify the top 10 projects, and the top 3 will get scholarship dollars. But at the senior showcase, we will have another set of judges that have been recruited from the business community and the entrepreneurship community to come in and evaluate all of the projects. So all 80 of them will be on display that day, and so those judges will go through and be judging sort of a totally different criteria. They will not have had the opportunity to look at the work that they've done online. They're just judging the idea in terms of its innovativeness and its marketability. So there will be judges that go around that actually have dollars. Cool. It'll be fake money, but they will be investing in what they think the best ideas are. So that money will all be tabulated that day, real time, and at the conclusion of that event, the top 5 winners in terms of investment will be considered our wild card teams. So it may be that some of the top 10 winners of the online portion are also great ideas, and so they may be among the top money winners. But if that's the case, we will actually go down the list to get the next good idea, because what we want to end up with is 10 from the online portion plus an additional 5 wildcard teams, and all 15 of those teams will have the opportunity to participate in an entrepreneurship workshop that will be put on by Casey SourceLink and some people from the Casey Startup Village. And these are all entrepreneurs that are going to talk through sort of the second piece of, okay, you had a great idea, now what? Now what do you do? And so they'll talk a little bit more about how you might get a patent, or just sort of the next steps of looking at whether or not the idea would have market potential. And the reason that we added that extra piece of the competition is that last year we had a couple of ideas that really were great ideas. They got a lot of media attention, and the kids and the teachers were very overwhelmed with, okay, now we don't know how to deal with this, right? We've been in this academic setting doing this as a project, and now what do I do? And so we wanted to find a way to give those great ideas kind of a next step place to go. And if you're curious, I'll just let you know, you can actually Google ketchup lid. I don't know what the best probably Google search would be, but ketchup lid Kansas City. Because last year we had a couple of kids from Liberty High School who actually came up with a design for a new ketchup lid that would keep the ketchup, the little water that accumulates on the top of your ketchup. It actually, when you turn the ketchup bottle over, it collects that, and then it will. Okay, my commercial's kicking in. Oh, I found it. Oh, are you pulling up my ketchup lid, kids, there? Looks like. But so these students actually had the opportunity to connect with some people and at the Kauffman Foundation and actually look at, okay, now what do we do with this idea for our ketchup lid? So there have been some fantastic projects that have come out of this process, but if you were to ask the teacher, his comment was, these kids were not his best engineers. They did not necessarily do the process the way you would have, made them necessarily win the competition. So we just want to find a way to kind of to celebrate both of those creative processes, both on the engineering side and on the innovative side. So, are there? Does anybody have any questions at all about the process, or just want to do a quick check-in with everybody? I know Tim Thomas, if you can stay on, I don't know if you're on the